Just sit back, get ready to dip your toes in these smooth voice tunes. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for gathering in our nice auditorium of your offices.
Homes and cars.
Hello, everybody. This podcast is Lava. My name is James Font. With me, I have Silas.
I'm over here, James.
I know, but I'm pointing at Sam, so it'd be confusing. Silas.
Well, now no one knows whether I'm Sam or
Oh, my
he's
goodness.
Sam. Point at the right people.
Hi, I'm Silas, and
Why does Silas get a higher pitched
When
voice?
did I become a gnome?
That proved the point.
When did I become a gnome?
Dang it! I'm done. I quit. I resign.
I'm a
You
Silas.
resign.
My voice.
Anyways, and Sam Schumacher, who is an hour late because he's a good husband and had to take care of his wife.
You know, we appreciate you, Sam.
Aw.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate both
He
of you,
thought we
too.
started the podcast without him. I'm like, bruh, we're waiting on you.
Yeah, bro.
Get over here.
Yeah, I was going real fast.
He's our graphic designer. We're paying nothing. He gets to be on the podcast. That's his payment.
That's his payment. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we can just include it.
You get to be here. That's the only reason we're here.
You're like, if we had an extra mic, I guess we'd. Oh crap! I have another mic.
Pretty much.
Anywho, no. Since everyone's confused, I'm Silas Whitlock. I'm not that high-pitched freak over there. And then there's Sam. Now people know who's who.
We
because
already did the introduction.
I wanted to make sure they knew I was me.
So Sam's looking up our topic today, which is Ohio myths and legends, and he said he had something going on, but I don't know what's going on.
I had an article earlier today when I was at work, and I lost it, which sucks. So I have to try and find it again. In the meantime, I had a thought, kind of like a shower thought not this morning, but this week actually. I realized that you guys are really lucky because you don't have full names.
What do you mean?
Like, so my name is Sam, otherwise known as Samuel in
Oh,
full
that's
terms.
right.
You guys, James and Silas, you don't have like a shorter version of your name.
Yes, I do.
Silas does. Never mind. But
So James, you're so lucky. I'm gonna throw my sock at him. Hee, suck it.
Wait, you have a full name?
well, we call him Si.
I have a full name. Yes, my parents gave me a front name, a middle name, and a last
See,
name.
I've never called, not never, but I very seldom call Silas Cy.
Yeah,
True,
People
true.
do call me Si.
Some
but
people-
that's only
hey.
the cool people that sell me drugs.
I was just saying
Or
you're
not
lucky
drugs, but
because your
hugs.
parents can never be like extra long name, middle name.
Also,
last name.
remember, I have a super boring name. It's only 2 syllables.
Yeah,
If you say my full name, it's James Font. It's not something cool like
Oh, I
Sam
was trying to add
Shoemaker.
both syllables to James. I was like, that doesn't work.
James.
Oh no, I was doing the clap thing, like the Ames. I was like that.
James.
That doesn't work.
James,
I'll just clap while
I have
I'll
18
sing.
syllables.
Makes you feel more important.
just sound out each letter with all
Yeah.
possible variations of
Anywho.
the sound.
Why does that make
Why-
James
yeah, what does that matter?
lucky?
Well, I was thinking in terms of like your parents. Like your parents can't shout a longer name, like, or anyone for that matter who's like mad at you. They can't be like Jamesathan
James.
Font, like Jamesathan Robert Font.
My name is Jameson. Thank you.
Jameson. Yeah, you know.
Jameson.
So for me, it's like, oh, Samuel, Philip, Robert, Ethan, Frederick.
Why you got so many names? You Catholic?
They couldn't make up their mind in the hospital, so they just wrote them all.
Like, I think we can pick and choose later, right? And the nurse is like, yeah. I think just say some names. I'll write them
I'll
down.
just write them down. We can decide later. And then they just never decide later. They just had like a list of names.
Or like it cost money to change your name, and your parents are like, I ain't paying for that. We gave you 6. Be happy with 6.
You do have, 6 syllables. That is
Yeah.
crazy. Shamuel. No, wait, no more than that.
No, it's not.
Wait, do you-
Samuel. It's 4 syllables. We're all clapping. It's 4 syllables.
I was just say I was super lucky.
Philip and then Shoemaker.
I was talking about names.
Oh,
Holy
you're
crap.
adding all the syllables.
I'm
to
doing
my
your
name.
okay.
Yeah.
When your mom yells at you, she goes, "Samuel Phillips Shoemaker, you
You
get
know
out
what?
here
No,
right now
no,
and pull up your
no.
pants."
You're lucky.
Exactly.
You're lucky because by the time your parents start yelling at you, by the time they finish your name, they're too exhausted and forgot about what they were initially yelling at you for, so you get off scotch-free.
That's valid.
Us, it's like you just say our name, boom, and then we get the spankings.
James Robert Font, kick you in the face.
Yep. Anywho.
So, Ohio myths and legends.
Yep.
Do you guys know what the name Ohio means?
Water.
You're
Ooh.
actually very close.
Big water. The big water.
You're very,
The
very close.
high water.
No, well, no, that was
The high
that was actually so. It's actually a Seneca word, which like the Seneca Indians of Ohio,
He's making stuff up. I think this is from Star Wars.
and it means good river, great river, or large creek. It's kind of got some different,
Interesting.
which we do have a lot of rivers in Ohio. We have like the Maumee River, the Ohio River, and it was pretty big swamp for a while too.
It was,
So-
and we actually live in the Black Swamp area.
It's true,
Mhm.
and I think
Delicious ham.
we have like the largest estuary of like.
What is an estuary?
I'm
it's
sorry.
like water that flows in. I couldn't
You
explain it
mean
better than
a
that.
river?
We have a lot. We have some.
We have a large estuary, and
All other places
I
have
don't know
solid
how
water.
to describe that word. I just said it so I sound smarter than both of you.
Yeah, but
And then you're making fun of him because you know you can't sound smarter than him.
Actually, I can.
I want to see
I
it happen.
could-
Let's
I
have a
could
good
look up the
you
civil,
could look it up on Google.
I
civilized
could
debate.
Google it.
No, phones away. Say big words and you say big words. Who wins? That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a big word battle.
Octogenarian.
He wins. No, okay. So, espionage. What were you talking about?
No, so it was just we have a lot of really interesting natural water in Ohio and Michigan. Like the Great Lakes is the largest freshwater, or like whatever one of the lakes is. Lake Superior, I think, is the largest freshwater lake
Oh,
in the world. So we have some really interesting waterways, and so the name of Ohio being Great River or Good River makes sense.
they're also great places to collect toothpaste beads.
Did you know that Ohio, Cleveland boasts America's first traffic light in 1914?
Nice.
Look at us, beginning the roadways the way they need to be.
Ohio just blazes forward.
That's the
ever
only
forward.
thing that
No,
Cleveland
actually, we're
has
not-
that's going for
That's
it.
Colorado that's blazing forward.
Yeah.
And Michigan, and a lot of other places now, actually.
Yeah.
So this is not exactly a side note, but this is actually a fun fact, but it kind of ties into some of the creepier myths and legends. Bryan, did you guys know that in Bryan there was actually a public hanging?
What?
What?
Yeah.
When?
1800s,
I was hoping you were going to say
Last
96
year.
or something like that.
2015.
I was like, so that's what the scratching on my walls is. There's
No.
a guy just like swinging through the streets.
No, so there was some.
Real quick, where are you getting your facts from?
Oh, the question about for this particular story, it's actually from a book, historic photographs of Bryan, Ohio.
Okay.
We found it at Barnes and Noble, and we bought it for the coffee shop in Bryan,
Ooh.
Seasons, and I read through it, or about halfway through it. Nice, James.
Sorry.
And-
The thought of people hanging from things, it just makes him burpy.
Yeah, fair enough. So apparently, like, there was some person who was prominent in town, and someone that knew them thought that they could kidnap his child and get a ransom for it. I don't know if it was one or two people. I'd have to have it in front of me to give you exact facts, but they kidnapped him, and something went wrong. The child was actually killed or died, and so yeah, the guy, I think it must have been just one guy that was convicted of murder and was the first and only public hanging in Bryan, Ohio.
That's
So,
interesting.
Where
Yeah.
did they hang him at?
On the square.
On the square?
I'm pretty sure, like, at the
From
Is it where the fountain is?
that'd be
That'd be so-
amazing.
That'd be so.
Or where
that'd
the-
be so appropriate.
Where the gazebo is.
Where the
It's-
gazebo.
like the gazebo is just.
They're
for-
like, well, we're never going to use this again. We don't really want to. It cost most of this year's budget. Can we just like take some of these panels from around the bottom and put them up on a roof and then call that good? Or it's the actual courthouse now. It's like, oh yes, established on death and justice.
the flagpole at the very top of the courthouse is actually the original
Oh my
hanging
gosh.
rod.
Oh my gosh.
Did you know Ohio is known as the Buckeye State?
No. Yes, I did.
literally every so we're like, all right, so we faced the Wolverines, and our our mascot is a Buckeye.
Yep.
Cool.
It's because
Yeah.
back in the day, our
Buckeyes were seen as fierce.
The original army of Napoleon was defeated by Seneca Indians throwing buckeyes at him.
That sounded really legitimate.
Today on Ohio Myths and Legends.
That's a legend because it doesn't exist.
But you see, I could see the French surrendering to something like that.
Oh no, they have thrown the buckeye at us.
Yeah.
What do we do, Captain?
Let us go build. Wait, that's Russian.
It's Russian. And then Russia was
we
made. That's weird.
we need
Quickly.
to go build the Eiffel Tower.
We are going to take the white shirt and surrender quickly. They have the buckeyes.
We know how to do accents real well.
You guys will get there eventually. I'm not even going to attempt.
So, anyways, Anthony Wayne was a famous general in the area from like the War of 1812. I don't know a ton of history, so if my facts are wrong, comment down below and just totally insult me.
Come on. We roast you, so our audience is allowed to roast you.
Yeah. So like
putting that out
he's the
there.
one that built Fort Defiance. So Fort Defiance, there's like Fort Wayne, there's Fallen Timbers, and various other forts that go up along the Maumee River and up towards Detroit as Anthony Wayne was going into Detroit or trying to get to Detroit. So there's a legend that one of his payrolls was stolen. It was, I believe it was gold bars. It was stolen, and the thieves buried it on the southern bank of the Turkey Foot Creek, which is a branch. It comes off of the Maumee River by Napoleon, the city of Napoleon. And according to the legend, anyone who gets near to it is ultimately frightened away by the apparition of an Indian on a horse. And there's a couple different
I'd
instances.
fight it.
Well, there's a couple different instances where
I just rip off my shirt, smear mud on my face, and chase after. It would be scared of me.
I believe it. There's a couple instances. I think a guy went out looking for it and ended up like passing out and then waking up like in the woods somewhere and having like very little memory of the instance. And then there was a boy that was out looking for fish or something, and he believes he encountered it as well. There's a few stories. I don't have the exact link for that one. But that is an Ohio myth, or legend rather, that there is the
There's an apparition.
the apparition of an
woods.
Indian warrior on his horse that guards
Native American. We're politically
Native
correct here.
American guarding Mad Anthony Wayne's payroll, which is buried, like I said, on the bank of the Turkey Foot
Alright.
Creek, the south side of the river. So, that's cool. It has not been found that we know of. Whenever I hear something about like a buried treasure, I do sometimes think that we're like, oh, it's never been discovered. If it's true, I would also imagine that it could have been found by someone who was smart and just knew the lay of the land. And they didn't want to get the publicity. They didn't want to have to maybe pay like taxes or have it confiscated from them as like historical evidence or whatever.
Screw those people. That's why you take it and you build a campfire. You melt it down into something else.
That's right.
Why I got so many golden
But
cat
people
statues? I
probably,
really like
like-
cats.
With a lot of hidden
Got a problem with
treasure, people probably do go out and dig it up secretly, and it's been found, and just no one actually knows that it was found.
I think you should go find it, Sam.
I would love to, because I think
Let's do it.
right now it's worth like,
Can I wear those rubber pants that keep water out of my pants?
waiters.
He's making up more words, James.
Did you know that Akron is
Is the city where LeBron James came from?
is the largest rubber producer in the world?
That's really weird.
So that's where you get your rubber waiters.
Did you know that Brian, this is a fun fact of Ohio as well. Did you know that Brian, the Ohio Art Company based in Bryan, was the inventor of the etch and
Yes,
sketch?
I knew that.
That
and I
is
take pride in
mind-blowing.
that. You know, there's a little Snapchat filter for the longest time. I don't know if it still is over there, but it was a little Etch-a-Sketch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever tried to put on a filter when I was by there, so I'll have to try that.
Also, here's something that's pretty cool that I don't think it's, well, more of a disappointment because you go think of it this way. You go trick-or-treating and you get these in your little, I don't know, candy bucket, and you're sad. That's the bad thing. But Bryan, Ohio makes Dum-Dums.
Oh, yes.
And
Spanglers.
Spangler's candy canes. That was my fun
That-
fact.
yeah.
That's the only thing I know about Ohio.
We have
You
the...
just try and I'm gonna throw my sock at you now.
this is a great one. I have a picture to go with it once I tell the story.
Oh, sweet.
This is of the Athens Insane Asylum, which is
Ooh,
always good.
I
Like
think
it,
I read it
it's
from
always a pretty creepy story when it includes like an old hospital or insane asylum or like a morgue. This is the story of Margaret Schilling. So, Let's see. This was a lunatic asylum that was founded in 1867. By the way, I'm getting my facts from ohio.org. So you know it's official.
If it has an org, it's official.
That's right. This was a cutting-edge center for the mentally ill and incapacitated. Eventually, funding for this and similar institutions dried up and the patient numbers declined. By 1981, the asylum housed less than 300 patients, which left one of them plenty of room to walk around. Margaret Schilling went missing from one of the active wards in 1978 and was found 3 months later in 1979 by a maintenance worker. Imagine that, like 3 months later, their body's just gone and gross. Gross. Yeah. But that's part of the story.
Makes me want to eat a big block of cheese.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Margaret...
What?
That's disgusting.
That took a second to sink in.
Did neither of you actually listen to what I said?
Oh, I heard it.
I
was
guess
just
I'm
like,
not important to this
no,
podcast.
I heard it. I went, oh, it makes me want to eat a
leaving.
big block of cheese. I went, yeah, that's normal. Wait, no, it's not.
I mean, I always want to eat a big block of cheese. One of the things in our house, I don't know if this is your guys' house, I would just like go into the fridge and I'd just take a knife and cut a big chunk of sharp cheddar cheese and just eat it. Like
Heck yeah,
plain.
man. Heck yeah.
We would go through cheese so fast. But anyways,
Aren't you lactose intolerant?
sometimes.
Aren't you lactate
There's
intolerant?
cheese involved.
Only when I need to be one of those people that goes into a coffee shop and goes, do you have any milk alternatives? I need non-dairy product, please. Oh,
And it needs to be organic.
And then they
Can
just
I
put
have some
bleach
of
in
that-
there.
But I have some of that avocado on toast for
What?
$20. So the maintenance worker finds Margaret Schilling's body. Apparently, Margaret had folded up the clothes she was wearing, stacked them neatly in a corner, and laid down to rest. Which is weird that she would just do that and die.
That's what I do.
You know. An official report says Margaret died suddenly of heart failure, and due to a chemical reaction between her body and the bare floor, a stain was left behind where she lay. Visitors to what is now the Kennedy Museum of Art.
What?
I have to read that again. So we're talking about the Athens Insane Asylum, and it is now today known as I missed the sentence. Where'd it go? The Kennedy Museum of Art. Say that the visitors there say you can sometimes see a woman waving back at you from empty asylum windows. Let's see. Where's the picture here?
And I can just imagine being like in that museum.
That's the picture of her
dang,
body.
yeah, that's
like
right.
The stain of her body.
I can just imagine like walking through. You're like on a tour, and the guy's like, "And here we have this blah 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 painted in 1936 with all these kinds of different bugs and things because people were poor." And if you look in that room, you'll see a dead person's body stains. Moving on, and like it's
Isn't
just
it
like
beautiful?
It's just nothing. And people are like, "Wow!"
Ooh,
And it's like, "Yes, it
my-
took exactly 3 months." The original artist for this died in the process of making this.
Yes, she was so dedicated
her
to her
life
work. She
for it.
she died for this piece of art.
Yes. Also, I wanted to point out, you said it didn't make any sense that she took off her clothes and folded them before she laid down to take a nap.
Yeah.
She was also a patient at a mental institute.
That is a valid statement.
Seems like so. This person in a mental asylum doesn't make
They weren't
sense.
thinking clearly.
Oh boy.
But I also want to say, I do take off all my clothes to take a nap.
So here's another story.
All right.
This one is, to me, some of these, it's like if you wanted to boost tourism, you would say that there was something creepy.
Stop that! James is making ghost voices in the mic with his fingers. It's not cool. I don't like it. Stop it. Okay. Yeah, that's bad. That's poor.
I don't think James is even moving right now. He's sitting perfectly still.
That'd be super creepy, dude. Like, you're looking at him, he's just looking straight forward. I'm looking at him, he's giving me that weird, like, look. And then he's just asking for, like, a big jugs of milk.
That is probably the creepiest thing, is when people just walk up to you and are just like,
Hey,
hey, man, you got some
jugs of milk.
big jugs of milk. I need-
much milk.
Oh, I'm the son of Sam.
Okay.
We lost the war. We didn't have any milk. Our bones were too brittle. We couldn't fight.
Hey, that's a nice pizza. Ah, you
You
got me with the meme.
Okay. We just need... That's a great meme. All right, go ahead,
That's
next.
so good. But like this one, I feel like is not so much like a haunting story as much as it is like, oh yeah, work conditions were really, really crappy back then, and a lot
So
of people
the
died.
6-year-old died.
Oh
No,
gosh.
Actually, this is the story of
How I Met Your Mother.
the Moonville Tunnel.
Ooh.
This is the story of the brakeman, which would be a railway worker
He needs to take a break.
Man.
sitting in what is now the state park. No, actually sitting in what is now Zelinsky State Park is Moonville Tunnel, an old railway site from the 1850s. Due to the unsafe railway conditions at the time, as many as 26 people died in or around the tunnel, most of them being lantern-carrying brakemen that were responsible.
They're the only people that can see and they're dying.
Well,
Follow me, I know the way! Oh, no, Larry does not know the way.
All right. Well,
He's
put
like,
the
no,
other-
I'm still fine.
we
We're
need
like-
another one. Another brakeman volunteer. Next.
Funny thing
All
about
right.
it is they gave them lanterns because they were all blind, so they didn't need
That's
to
right.
see.
The the newest recruits just like so I heard that like 26 people died. No,
Don't worry about it.
no. 26
That's
people
Ohio
retired.
myths and legends right
26
there, boy. Let me tell
26
you the
people
truth.
retired
full
from this
pensions.
position.
Full pensions. They
Yep,
they
yep,
lived long.
yep, yep.
They were good. Yep. Yep. Yep.
They
just
had,
hear, like,
they had a
screams
full
coming
pension
from the
as long as
tunnel.
they lived, and you know what? Next week we're installing safety ropes along the edge.
What would that look like? Well, you get a rope tied around your ankle. Oh, what's it fastened to? Your ankle.
Your other ankle.
Your other ankle. Trip.
All right.
Ah!
So we're gonna put a rope around your neck and the other one around your ankle and figure it out.
We're gonna tie one rope to the end of the train that is
Okay,
moving.
so we're gonna have two of you working together. We're gonna put ropes around your neck, so if one falls off, he'll be saved, and the other one will have to save him and pull him up by his neck. Because back here, what year is this?
This was back in the 1850s.
Back here in the 1850s, the neck is the strongest part of a man because we're so short. It's pretty low to the ground, and so you can just pull the other guy up with
and
your
you
neck.
know what? It doubles. It doubles as a brake. You're a brake man. It doubles as a
my
brake
throat
for the
hurts.
train. So one of you gets on one side of the track, the other on the other.
They're both just standing there. Then it's just like both their heads just pop right off.
The train is going to hit the rope, and theoretically, we haven't tested this before.
But I think it.
I think this will work. The train will stop when it hits the the rope that is pulled taut between your two necks.
So I haven't seen. What am I saying? I saw a photo of it was a guy, the first bulletproof vest.
Oh no!
And there's just a dude. There's just a dude wearing it, and the other guy's like, "All right, here we go." And it's just a picture.
It's just filled with like gravel.
Imagine
It only stops at some of the time, but it increases your chances of survival.
50% of the time, it is 25% successful.
Oh my gosh! That's
Only 10% of the time.
Oh man. So apparently the visitors to this tunnel have reported seeing disembodied lanterns lighting the tunnel or dark figures carrying it like the lantern through the tunnel, which I suppose would it's actually the other way around. The train goes under the tunnel.
the train
What?
goes under the
The
tunnel.
tunnel. So I guess there's probably a road over top of it. But they see the lanterns inside the tunnel.
I don't have shoes.
Why is there a
I
rope
ate
around
2
my neck?
bananas for breakfast.
The rope was a bad idea.
My mom said I
have
didn't
enough
pay
oil.
rent this month. I forgot to take out
It
the
was
cat.
Toby. He
He
pushed
pooped
me
everywhere.
I'm coming for you.
We actually work for the state of Ohio to increase tourism every year.
My name is Toby. Well, that's an interesting
That's
story.
very interesting. I was reading an article.
Good job. You can read.
It took me 21 years to do it, but finally I got through.
That's awesome, man. I'm
Green
proud of
Eggs
you.
and Ham. Yeah. No, I was reading a article and listening to a podcast about a tunnel, and I don't remember the name of it. Well, I remember the name of it, but I know I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. But the
What?
What?
Dang it! I forget the name of the tunnel.
Silas
I
forgot the
remember.
name of the tunnel.
The Hoosac Tunnel. That's right.
The Hoosac. What does it
That's,
do?
It is.
What podcast is this?
I forget what podcast it was, but it's a tunnel that, or Hoosac. I'm sorry, not Hoosac. I read that wrong. It's a 4.75 mile long tunnel in Massachusetts.
What?
And
Massachusetts?
And yeah, a bunch of people died in it, and so it's now quote unquote
Haunted.
Yeah, I forget how many people died in it. There was a bunch of people that died.
Silas,
It doesn't give me-
I'm kind of upset that you would forget how many people died because those people had families that cared about them.
This was also built in 1851.
Whoa.
Not a good year for tunnels.
Don't think any year was a good year for railway tunnels.
I can't remember if it was just like one guy or two guys, and I'm pretty sure it was like they like walked him in there, and so they like sent in a group of people or like two people into this tunnel to check, I think, like the dynamite charges on it.
Oh my
bad
god.
And
idea.
while they were in there, the other dude was like, "All right, go ahead and shut it off," and they trapped him in there. Like, they didn't die. They trapped him in there.
Oh,
So,
can
like,
you imagine
apparently
that?
you can hear, like, the screams and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Or sometimes you can see him and whatnot.
That's part of like one of the scariest ways to die probably would be like you get trapped somewhere and you die slowly.
It'd be kind of peaceful.
Maybe.
Except for hearing all, like, the drippy sounds from,
You're like,
water and
wow,
whatnot.
I'm really hungry.
It depends. Like if you were trapped in like say a cave or like in
Oh,
an
that'd be
instance like that,
terrible.
that'd be one thing. But imagine
I'm
just
still
being
really hungry.
imagine just being pinned down by like boulders and you just slowly die.
now
That would
now
suck.
I'm getting thirsty.
I'd pull out my handy-dandy Swiss Army knife and chop off one of my limbs, even if I didn't need to. I would just probably be bored, so...
You're like, well, my finger's coming off. Well, that was fun. All right, next finger.
Well, you cut off the tips of your pinkies and use those as earplugs. Boop. And then you don't have to get your hands tired by holding your ear shut. I just MacGyvered it. That's what I did.
So this is mind blowing.
Earplugs out of pinkies.
Why not?
I'd never heard of this before.
Take me to Shark Tank, people.
Did you guys know that there was a werewolf in Defiance?
What?
What?
Yeah. So let me
A
tell
werewolf was defiant?
you. Yes, James. There was a defiant werewolf that had a 3-hour standoff with police in the summer of 1952.
Ha-ha!
Ah, they all just tilted their hats at him until he gave up, and it worked.
Then he went home
And
and,
then the sun came out, and he turned
Hey.
into a naked little man.
What? They did like the little policeman shuffle, like, hey, and they captured him because they wore him out.
yeah, exactly.
And they shot him with a silver...
A Tommy gun.
Yeah, silver Tommy gun.
silver
Yep,
Tommy
yep, yep,
gun.
yep, yep, yep.
Just like they did with the old with Bonnie and Clyde. You know, they shot him up with a Tommy gun.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the guzz.
Guys,
Yeah.
What's up, Sass?
I had the opportunity to see...
I'm so angry about this.
I am too. I had the opportunity to see that car in person
What?
over Thanksgiving. Yep.
Okay, that was the different thing. What was the other thing you had an opportunity and
I
totally
also
blew?
had the opportunity to see... I didn't blow it. Didn't blow it.
It's your fault. You could have
It's
said,
not-
hey, let's stop.
No, it's not my... I did. I also had the opportunity... So in that same time... At that same time, I had the opportunity to also see Ted Bundy's car.
Ooh.
His VW Bug. So I had the
That's
opportunity to
scary.
see Bonnie and Clyde's car and Ted Bundy's car at the same location for $25.
Oh, so they're both at the same museum?
Yes.
Oh.
And we were going to do it, but someone was $5 short and didn't tell us until we were away from the museum. I would have paid, I don't know, $75 to get in there
Yeah.
and see all that stuff. Because
What's the museum
We
called?
should go
what
back.
museum is it?
it's called the East Crime Museum. I
Oh, so
think.
it's all like local crime and
Yeah, it's themed after Alcatraz.
oh,
And it's like an interactive museum, and it looks really cool.
we should
And
all take a road
It's
trip down
in
there. 'cause-
It's
H.H.
in-
Holmes' house.
actually,
is it really?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh.
That'd be. I would
That would
not
be-
do that
it's
because you
actually-
don't know what's still active in
it's
that.
actually in H.H. Holmes' murder hotel,
thing. Ooh,
which I think actually they burned down, but never
Yeah,
I'm
burned.
pretty sure they
did. The first- yeah, they
burned.
burned down.
It may have burned down in the Chicago fire.
No, someone burned it down.
Okay, but that place,
From my remembrance.
that place would be wild because you're
Oh,
like,
man, that'd be
"Huh,
so crazy.
We lost 17 guests to unknown trapdoors last week. We have to do better, people. We have to do better.
They're just in
I
a
just imagine you
basement.
standing in line for that. Like, you're waiting to get a room, and it's like, oh, yes, you're in luck. We have exactly one room left. And you're like, writes his name down.
Oh.
The guy walks away. He's like, next, please. You said you're all full. No, we have exactly one room left. Writes the name down. Continue, please. And
Wait
he's
a
like,
second,
wait, is this some kind of
But
business
walk-
thing to get me to buy the room here? And he's like, Will you buy a room? Yeah. Yes, it is.
No, it's only for the pretty women. The second floor.
Would you mind checking out this spacious walk-in closet?
Look at this, and it's even airtight. Clunk.
Put your face up against that little
Why
pipe.
is this floor like kind of
Springy.
springy?
Down my butter trap and my greased traps.
That's a weird place for a laundry chute.
Because this is exactly what he sounded like. What'd you say?
I said that's a weird place for a laundry chute.
Yeah. Sam thought that was
He
funny.
like just yells down there. He's like, "It's innovation."
You just put your clothes on the floor here and then boop.
But don't stand
Welcome
on
to
it.
the 21st
Because
century.
at the bottom of it's a meat grinder. Ah! Just kidding. He didn't do that.
He did not do that, but he was interesting.
He was diabolical.
There was
He had
actually
these 3 kids he had to carry around with him.
then he killed him.
Did he?
Yeah, he killed
I
them.
don't remember
He
that.
killed the kids. It was
Messed up.
horrible. They found him at like different buildings or like
Yeah.
different states. He traveled to a couple different
Yeah.
places, and at one they found the first one, and then the next one they found two of them buried under the floorboards.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like he killed his business partner. He was just in it for something. I don't know. I've listened to.
I don't know. That's why you can't ever trust medical majors.
That's right. That's
Someone
right.
says they're a doctor, run.
That's right.
No, I've talked to a lot of people. I'm like, so what do you do for a living? Like just to pass time while I'm working or something. And they'll be like, well, yeah, I'm a nurse right now. I'm
You
just
do the
going
fat
into-
man shuffle away from that. You like trip over their cat or something, get away.
Yep.
Because that's how you stay alive in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, always remember, if anyone's taking you, never get in the car and never get tied up.
That's right.
And if they start tying you up, just start flailing. You
You,
can't.
you know the
I
other
don't
thing
have
is,
bones, so they can't tie me up.
You make a lot of noise and you move. You run as fast as you can
Even
at
if
any
they shoot you.
at any
Unfortunately,
opportunity.
that's just me in my normal state.
Here's the funny part. Right? Ready? Ready? Potatoes.
Tune in today to listen to what that's about.
Wait, I have it. Okay, so this is the story of the Defiance werewolf, and I'd never heard of this before. So get this: the summer of
Get this.
1972,
1972.
a good year, a great year,
Right after everybody was done smoking weed.
a year for the railroad worker who was reportedly assaulted by a werewolf to report it to the
He
local
was what?
news. He was apparently assaulted by the local werewolf.
Wow, how's that work?
Yeah, well, you know,
No. Just keep me telling the story.
so you know,
1972.
1970.
Yeah, we're using
that's-
1972 voices. This is how people talk in the 1972.
No.
They talk
Actually-
like auctioneers.
the
I was
other,
just to say,
the alternative would be like, "This is me in the summer of 1972." I bet you're wondering how I got here, like a freeze frame in the opening of a movie. You know,
the 70s were not that cinematic. They had the hair, they had the cars, they had the jeans up to their belly buttons.
They had the worst
they had the belly
wallpaper.
buttons.
What?
I meant to say bell bottoms, but
Because
you,
I
but you had just said belly buttons, and I said belly buttons instead of bell bottoms. Okay, so here it is. He was reported he reported being assaulted by a werewolf with a 2x4 in one of 3
Wait.
similar attacks along the tracks. So this is one story of 3.
No,
Yeah,
with a 2x4?
with a 2x4.
Yeah, because if you got fangs and claws, you want to use a 2x4
Okay, fair enough.
so you can grip it better.
So the events put the residents in great fear, and the quote-unquote creature, or whoever committed the assault, was never apprehended. So then I'm going to switch over to another instance where actually, as recently as, I believe, 2007, some
What?
like cryptide and like UFO hunters came to Defiance to check this out. So this is kind of like an extension of that original story. Midway through 1972, Defiance became what can only be termed Werewolf Central. Over the course of 2 months,
That's not true.
I know, right?
I've lived in Ohio all my life. I've been to Defiance many times.
I've been out in the backwoods of Defiance and never been mauled by a
Defiance
werewolf.
has a backwoods? Didn't know that.
I dug up the old city dump. It was way back in the woods, way back in the woods, and it was creepy.
You dug up the entire dump?
Well, it was a small city dump. It was
You didn't answer my question.
not the entire
He's
dump,
like,
but
maybe just a little.
just
I
a little
maybe
bit-
got a
just-
he's
backhoe,
like, what?
found all the dead bodies that I left there.
I may have collected way too many old antique bottles. From
Anywho,
that.
yeah, so
So July to August of that year, sightings of a rampaging, hair-covered man beast. That's man-beast. Pronounced muzzle and dressed in rags. The local media quickly picked up on this sinister saga, as did the town's police, who even opened an official file on Defiance's very own monster. So
I was hoping you were going to say, even opened fire on the creature. Just he's like, hey, give me this. Pow, 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 pow.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Neither would I.
Hey, Johnny, watch this. I got a pistol, right? Pow, pow. Oh, look, werewolf. Pow, 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 pow.
He was also the sheriff back in the 70s.
The werewolf?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, Sheriff, what do you... Oh, my goodness, you're turning werewolf.
That's how I catch the criminals fast.
Why did I get on patrol with you?
To say that Defiance was gripped by terror would be an understatement. Oh. I've never heard of this, so I feel like the fear that they were gripped with did not last very long or had a
No.
very loose grip.
I think I was more scared of the decapitated and skinned dog that was found under the bridge, like, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, you didn't know about that? I
No.
think it was actually longer than 6 months ago. It was actually, I think it was last year sometime. Or early this year, or something like that. The
dude.
police found a
I-
decapitated dog that had been skinned. I think it was a German Shepherd.
Whoa, and that's like
inside of
big dog.
a plastic bag or something like that. So there's one of three things that could have happened. One, cult activity. Never know if that happens.
true,
Two, serial killer. Another thing.
valid.
Three, the dog pooed on some dude's carpet one too many times, and he just took it too far.
The beheading and skinning part is interesting. If there was no other, because I could see like maybe they were weird and wanted a pelt.
Oh, so Cruella de Vil.
Yeah,
So if you see anyone walking around with like a German Shepherd skirt, we know who it was.
that's right. No, that's messed up. I maybe remember hearing that, but
I mean, it happened around the time you were living there.
and you know what? Our neighbor did have a German Shepherd, and then it disappeared shortly after I moved in. Mwaha.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's actually not true. Silas is staring at the corner right now. It's kind of
No, I'm trying to make things
The
make
Crescent
sense.
News and local newspaper and the Toledo Blade ran a total of 4 articles about the werewolf incident. The longest of the
Oh.
articles focused on the local police force's investigation into the incident.
Dude, you know what it was? Someone making dog sacrifices the devil to become a werewolf. There you go. Boom. Right
There
there.
we go.
Well,
And
to be
all he
fair, there
does-
are cults and stuff in
And
Ohio.
he just puts the slimy coat on and then just runs around with like a
I
dog.
found original articles.
Oh, nice.
I will link them if
Steve.
you care, but it's original 1972 articles.
Sam, you should have sent this to me sooner.
That's right. Ha.
I threw my sock at him.
So after Defiance was gripped with terror, many of the sightings of the creature were made around a series of old railroad tracks, and usually at night. A couple of guys working on the tracks, Ted Davis and Tom Jones, had an
There's
encounter.
a YouTube video
Wait,
about
hold
it.
up.
Is it a video of
Oh.
the creature? Like, is it a modern video of it?
No.
Oh, because that'd be awesome. Like,
No,
grainy
it's a
Bigfoot
prehistoric
video.
one.
Ohio
footage.
local legend, the werewolf of Defiance, is an Ohio local legend that still haunts. I'm going to link this video. Coming soon, a tale of terror based
dude,
on
you
true
should
events.
So send that to the group chat. I'm super interested in
this
that,
looks
actually.
super
Yeah.
great.
So apparently these two guys that I was just mentioning, Ted Davis and Tom Jones, had a
Dogman Encounters.
encounter
episode
of the
46.
very close kind.
Continue.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I just got your link. Sweet. So these guys had a close encounter, apparently. A quote from the newspaper The Toledo Blade. I was connecting an air hose between the cars and was looking down. I saw these huge, hairy feet. Then I looked up, and he was standing there with a big stick over his shoulder. When I started to say something, he took off for the woods.
So he's scared of voices.
Yeah. You know...
So he's just going to like have normal conversation with them?
Right.
Well, so the other day, my wife actually told me I shouldn't eat any more yogurt because it makes my tummy fart too much.
And she was mentioning about my body hair. She wasn't too fond of it anymore.
And he guy's like, okay, this guy's boring. I'll leave him go. And ran off.
But that is, I mean, if you think about it, that could be a possibility. Like,
What the heck, man?
maybe just a like a squatter or something who maybe, because there are people that have body hair growth,
Yeah,
like
they
issues where they
get like too much of it.
like literally it grows all over on their face and arms and stuff. And if he was just someone that maybe had that, he'd be kind of outcast from society, and maybe he just
Or it could just be
hated
weird, and
people.
that's like the thing he likes to do, like the butt slasher in Texas a couple of years ago. Except this The 2x4 clubber.
That's right. Big hairy 2x4 clubber.
Was this guy like, so I went to Menard's day and I found a 2x4 and I was like, hey, this could be a
You don't
weapon.
have to pay for it if you scan it, then hit the cashier upside the head with it.
I have one final myth and or legend of Ohio.
All right.
This is actually a mix of history.
Oh, we should guess if this is a myth or a legend. Do you know if it's a myth or a legend?
I don't know what it would qualify for.
Sam
James
goes
got
with
it.
It's real. Myth and legend are the same thing. They're synonyms of each other.
Have you guys ever heard the name Simon Girty?
No.
No, I have not.
Okay. So Simon Girty was a man who lived kind of about the same time, actually, as the original myth and legend that I started with about the payroll, the gold.
All right.
He was like a trader, had good relationships with the Indians, and did not have very good relationships with the English. He was kind of like an outlaw, kind of a rogue, if you will. He was, I think, more aligned with the British than the Americans, and he would kill settlers. This is like the legend part of him. He would supposedly kill settlers, and since settlers were moving west, they would have a lot of goods with them, a lot of valuables that they had just purchased for the journey. He would take their valuables and bury them. Like, he would stockpile them, and then he would sell their wares to other settlers at his trading post.
That's what I used to do to
That's
my
good
mom.
business.
That's very good business.
I
So
would steal gum out of her purse.
Oh,
then I'd
your
bury it.
inventory is free. You just got to kill a couple of people for
that's
it.
right.
Yep.
And then
Easy.
sell it to
And
the
it's
other
back
people.
then, there's no... People don't know. People die all the time back then.
People in a lot of times when people went west, they would lose contact just because you're going out west. Like, who knows where
No
you're going?
cell phone service yet.
Exactly. No cell phone. They had the cell phones, no service towers.
Yeah.
They're like, dang, my iPhone, the towers haven't got out here for my iPhone
My,
to be working.
my iPhone
No,
1887
they didn't
model.
have
just,
iPhones, guys. Come on, they had flip phones. Everybody knows that.
That's right. Their Nokias just weren't working because there was no cell towers. So he had a trading post outside of Fort Miamis, which is in Maumee. But then, as you go down the river, this would be going towards Indiana. There's Napoleon. There's actually a town, or sorry, not a town. There's actually an island called Girty Island, and on the shore of the river, the Maumee River, he had a cabin, and supposedly he had kind of like a safe cabin, like a safe house on the island, so that if he was
Right.
if he was ever attacked, he could retreat to the island and basically like hold up there. And he would do that from time to time whenever the people that were hunting for him, because he lost favor with a lot of the locals.
All the
What?
people that he tried to kill
Yeah.
went back
So,
after him.
Yeah, he supposedly just died of old age in relative obscurity, according to the HeinzHistoryCenter.org.
The Heinz history. So Ketchup is looking
Ketchup
up stuff.
history about but yeah, so there's a lot of rumors that he buried treasure on the island or by his cabin, which was on the north shore of the Maumee River. Interestingly enough, that island was actually then home to a mansion. It was actually dubbed the Munsters Mansion because it looked strikingly like the Munsters mansion from the television show.
All
And
right.
Munster cheese is very good.
Yeah. And there was actually a dance hall there as well. And supposedly, because of the war that was going on there in the 1800s, when the dance hall was there, which I think was more like turn of the century, like late 1800s into like the 1900s when there was dancing going on there, the people that would attend the dances supposedly could walk out into the woods on the island. It's a large island, or larger island. And supposedly they could fill their pockets with musket balls. They could just find them on the ground from the battle that went
I
on
don't
there.
think
Dang.
women had.
But-
No, women had pockets on their dresses back then.
Apparently, yeah. But there's no official confirmation that there is buried treasure anywhere. No one has found anything that is specifically related to Girty that has been reported. Again, you never know. People could sneak out, metal detect, or just scrounge around and find something and just not report it. But that is the legend of Simon Girty.
Question is, do you report it?
When you find cool stuff, do you
I don't
report?
ever find cool stuff.
You
That's the
found a
problem.
gun once.
I did find a gun once, but it was nothing special. It was like a rusted frame of a 1920, no, earlier than that, like 1912 Derringer single shot.
And
25
that was,
caliber
That was the
pistol.
key to Rebecca Stevenson's murder.
I doubt it.
Actually, no.
And-
That's if you look at the you said 1912,
I don't remember the exact year.
approximately 1912. It's actually John Wilkes Booth. It's actually his.
Uh,
Yeah,
pistol.
here in Ohio, that's
that
where
was
that was.
1860 something.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I told you I don't know history.
that's true. But I think he did use a
Obama
derringer.
was president 20 years ago, so.
Feels like it.
My. How the times have changed.
Anyway, so thank you so much for joining us this week. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and we are on iTunes now. So you can find us at James Font Podcast or James Font Pod,
We're going
something
up
like
in
that.
the world.
You can listen to Morning Eggnog on there as well, the lesser-known show.
But still just as good.
Yeah, it's with Caleb, my cousin, and I. But yeah, you can follow us on Instagram. James Fox 47. Silas is at _amazing_. Anyways, and it'll be linked. And Sam is at the real Sam Shoemaker.
Nope.
Wait, what was it?
The real Sam.jpg.
The real Sam.jpg.
Because he's clever like that.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks.